Hi everybody, this is Bamidele again. I'm here to share you want to share you my experience in my doctoral journey at GCU at Grand Canyon University. Just want to let you know that this process is very lengthy, especially me that I'm a working professional as well. Um, it can take you time. It took me 7 years to complete, but I heard that it takes much longer for individuals, but you have to understand that everybody's doctoral journey or even dissertation journey is different. But I can give you some tips and bits on how to go about this. So I'll briefly summarize my experience. So I started my doctoral journey at GCU at Grand Canyon University on October 30th, 2018. And that's when I enrolled in my first research course, which was research RES 811, which was the first course that you take in terms of academic writing and scholarly writing, and that was the premise of everything. And then after that, I enrolled in my a couple of my DBA courses and my math and my management courses. So my emphasis was a doctorate in business administration with an emphasis in management. And so my first year, I took two research courses. One I just told you about, which was RES 811, the scholarly writing academic writing course, and I took RES 850. And this course was there was kind of like the course where you write the 10 strategic points or your core key elements of your study. And then I took DBA 820 and DBA 805. And then I also took two management courses. I took management 805 and I took management 825. And then after that, I took my first residency in in September of 2019. And my first residency course was the RSD 51 course. And in between my break, I did take one break after when I finished management 825. So I took 1 month break off, just kind of like relax from everything before I took my residency course. And then after when I took my first residency, I started my second year. And my second year of my doctor of my DBA program at management course, I took three other research courses. I took RES 861, RES 845, and RES 866. And then I also took two DBA courses again, which was RES 815 and RES 835. And then I also took one management course, which was management 820. And then the framework of the other three research courses, what I'm just gonna talk briefly, was RES 861, where I talked about that course was pretty much a framework of how you're gonna write your chapter two, like your literature review. And then RES 845 and RES 866 were kind of like the framework of helping you to develop your chapter three. Um, Whether you're going to write a quantitative or qualitative study, you have to know how to um, what methods are you going to use for your study and how you're going to go about collecting your data and your statistics. So those were the two courses that I took. And then after that, I took my after when I finished my second year, I took my second residency, which was at in Phoenix, Arizona. Again, at I took my second residency course in September of 2020 during the pandemic. And then after when I completed my second residency, when I enrolled in third year, my third year was doing a bit of a transition from student to a learner, because during my third year, I took my last research course and my last management course, and then also I was gonna transition into the research part of writing my dissertation. So I was getting my chair at that time at my third year. So my first year, the third year when I took RS 880, this course was kind of like the framework of how you're going to draft your prospectus. So it goes back to drafting your strategic points, which is the core elements to make sure that everything is alignment, everything is feasible, it's doable, everything, sits well with your committee when they review your documents. So in light of that, I took my third year, I took RES 880. And then I took my last management course, which was Management 830. And then after that, I took 1 week break before I took my my next DBA course, which was management, which was DBA 885 when which was I was assigned my chair at the time. So when I was assigned my chair, my committee members, my dissertation chair, my methodologist, my research consultant, and my content expert, this is where I was doing a more of a transition. So I was in my third year, and this was like around like March or April of 2021, and I was gearing up to just write my prospectus and then my proposal, and then getting my proposal approved, going through IRB, and then after that, when you go through IRB, you collect your data, you analyze your data, you write your final chapters, your committee approves it, reviews it, and then you defend, and then you move on, and then you go through formatting and these signs, and then you're done with your program and you graduate. So in this time period, it took me 4 years to actually complete my dissertation because I had never done a dissertation before. But as a good thing, I had a committee that was there to support me to go through this process. So when I got to DBA 885, my chair and my committee members, um, I was really kind of like really adjusting to academic writing because it's an iterative process. And so my third year, going into my fourth year of my doctoral journey, I took after I took DBA 885, I took DBA 955 and DBA 960 and DBA 965. And in regression to when I took DBA 955, I took where I was getting my perspectives approved by my chair and my methodologist. And then once they approved my perspectives, then I was gearing up, drafting up my proposal, my first three chapters. So in 960, I wrote a rough draft for my chapter two, and then I wrote a rough draft of my chapter three in DBA 966. Um, and then and then when I got to my fourth year, when I took 966, um, I took 966 3 times because I was trying to get my proposal approved in my chair so that he could submit it to both of my committee members so that they could review it and get it approved. So during my fifth year, I did get my proposal approved in my chair when he submitted my chapter two to my content expert, and then and then in terms of taking DBA nine, I took I took DBA 966 3 times to get my chapters one and two and three approved by my chair, and then my fifth year I took DBA 966, 967, sorry, and in that course I learned that this is an iterative process. So once my committee member with my context expert reviewed my chapter two, he said it's approved. Just make these minor revisions, and you can move on. And then when I took DBA 966, 968, which was the next course to be submitted to level two peer review, um, that took some time for me to adjust because I was trying to get my chapters 1 and 3 approved by my methodologist. And so that did happen. So in, I want to say, 2 years ago, um, December of 2020, 2023, my methodologist has approved my chapters 1 and 3 to be submitted to level 2 peer review. And so my full committee has approved my proposal to be submitted to level 2 peer review. So after that, last year, when I got to my 6th year, um, I took DBA 966, 969 3 times, because I was trying to get my proposal approved by my peer reviewer or my research consultant. So I went through 4 iterations with my research consultant, but then I finally got my proposal approved by my research consultant in last year, December of 2024. And then after that, I defended my proposal February of this year, February 12th. Yeah, February 2nd, I defended my proposal, and then I passed my proposal defense, and then I was submitted to IRB a week after that, and I went through revisions with IRB, and I got IRB approval in IRB approval April 3rd. Yeah, April 3rd. Yeah, April 3rd, I got IRB approval. And then after when I got IRB approval, I went through, I collected my data, I analyzed my data, I wrote my chapters 4 and 5. I was in DBA 967, 96, no, no, I was in DBA 970. And I was going back and forth with my chair with my chapter 4, especially in terms of my data collection, my data process. So my methodologist was concerned that, since my dissertation chair is not really a quantitative person like I am, um, she did suggested that she wanted to help me with my data collection, my data process, because it is a bit challenging, and I am not a statistician, but I am a business major. But I understand that it's not going to be easy. So that's why you have to have a committee to really support you and to navigate you through this process. So um, it was tedious, but I managed to get through writing chapters 4 and 5, and I got the approval of all of my committee members. And I was submitted. So all 3 of my committee members, chair, methodologist, and content experts, approved my proposal to be submitted to level 5 peer review. And then that was June 16th of this year. And then my research consultant has approved my all 5 chapters of my dissertation, um July the July 10th of this year, 2025. And after that, I defended my proposal July 17th. I passed my proposal, I passed my dissertation defense, and then I was submitted for my formatting July the 21st of this year, 2025. And then after that, after I got formatting approval, I was submitted to the dean's read August 4th, and then the dean um, approved my dissertation August 11th, and that was the mark of me successfully completing my doctorate of business administration program with an emphasis in management. And then after that, I submitted my dissertation to ProQuest the month after, in September. And then I went through, I think it took like 3 or 4 weeks to get my my dissertation officially published in ProQuest and accepted. And then I got the letter September, I think it was like September, I want to say September 24th, where they emailed me saying doctoral completion. We had fully recognized you as Dr. Bamidele Adewale Taiwo. as a doctoral expert in the business administration program with an emphasis in management. And then at that point, they issued me my terminal degree, and then I walked the ceremony. Yeah, I walked the graduation ceremony in GCU at Grand Canyon University, October 15th. Yeah, October 15th of this year, 2025. And then after that, I was waiting for my diploma to be mailed to me. So it took like 4 to 6 weeks to get my terminal degree mailed to me. But then after that, I got my terminal degree mailed in November. So it was like I want to say the first or second week of November, I got my terminal degree in business administration, and then and that's the whole process. So it took me 7 years to complete. This is not an easy journey. It's a marathon. You have to understand the rigor of academic writing and going about understanding that you're the expert. So I was making a transition from student to learner to candidate and now an expert in the field of what I studied for. So this process is can take you roughly between 5 to 7 years, 5 to 7 years to complete, but um it all depends on you. And because I'm also a working professional as well, and I'm also an entrepreneur as well, so I was also doing that and doing everything online and managing that, and reading articles, reading dissertations, um, going through the coursework, doing the discussion questions, navigating through, and also I had like a support system, like Zoom meetings with my cohorts, especially in terms of understanding that this is a very lonely process. It's not easy, but you have to kind of like commune with people that are in the same space as you are, so that you can navigate together and grow professionally and move through this process. So understanding that this is a journey, and I'm really grateful for this journey. It's taught me how to be resilient and to really dedicate time and energy to reading and studying and to be an expert in the field that I'm really passionate about. One thing I would tell you is that my dissertation focused mostly on the of financial self efficacy variance in behavior, knowledge, attitudes, and skills among non governmental workers between the ages of 25 to 55 who work in the United States. So, my area of expertise is mostly in the management and non governmental sector with non governmental organizations. So mostly dealing with mostly people that don't work for the government but work in private companies. So, and then other areas such as like women, children, or any non organizations that doesn't deal specifically with the government. So that was my dissertation I was on. But I would pretty much tell you that it's a growing process. You have to have a growth mindset, not a fixed mindset, because the first 3 years of the program when I was in coursework, I had the fixed mindset. And when I got to my dissertation chair, I had to adopt the growth mindset. So it's not about your GPA, your grades. In order for you to get your terminal degree, you're going to become the new expert in your field of study. So once your dissertation is published and you get your degree, you are considered an expert in your field of study. So you have to understand the rigor of academic writing. It's just not you have to kind of like adopt the flow of academic writing, which is reading articles. You have to kind of like synthesize articles in a scholarly manner, meaning that you tie things together. You can't just summarize information. You have to kind of like tie things together and develop a clear gap in the literature that supports your claims on why you're conducting your research. And so this taught me that when I'm conducting my research, I had to communicate to my audience, which is my chair, my methodologist, my content expert, and my research consultant, why my study is is reasonable, is valid for me to go and conduct my research. And I had to kind of like show that to them in the literature and how I'm addressing my claims in the literature that supports why this research is conducted. And then after, when I go through IRB and I collect my data, I now analyze my data, and I have to kind of like tell my committee members, okay, I collected this data. This is the findings of my data. Okay, and then what does my findings mean, and what do I recommend as a future research or a fellow doctoral expert in the field moving forward? Moving forward. So this is what I'm suggesting, that I'm my goals is to become a published author in finance and managers. I do also tend to publish books and journal articles. I do tend to also I want to work in as a financial analyst in industry, where I can consult for non-governmental organizations and how they can navigate through their finances and how to help an organization to save money, to actually not to save money for their for their business. And I do also want to be a support system for other students as well, to be a content expert for other students, to help them, to know that they're not alone, not that I can be that support system for other students as well, to be a subject matter expert to other students who are actually in the field of business administration or management as well. Um, that is the whole deal with doing a doctorate. A doctorate is not an easy process, but you got to understand that it will take you time to adjust to this process. You're becoming a novice researcher, sort of like nobody can really tell you like how long it would take you, but you have to understand that doing a doctorate is a marathon, and the marathon is complete when you have successfully completed your dissertation. When your dissertation is done, it's done. You have successfully completed your dissertation. It's published in ProQuest, and then they will issue you your terminal degree, and then you are a doctor. Um, that's all for now. I hope you're doing well, but that is what I wanted to share with you today. I hope everything is well with you, and I will talk to you soon. Bye for now.